Good evening and welcome to the news at 10. Their Majesties King Abdullah and Queen Rania commenced their working visit to Japan by meeting with Emperor Akihito and Empress Michiko at the Imperial Palace in Tokyo. During the meeting, the two leaders stressed the depth of their relations and their keenness to expand them in various fields. King Abdullah expressed his appreciation to Japan for its continuous support to Jordan through various development projects being implemented in the kingdom and its humanitarian role in supporting refugees. The meeting, which was attended by His Royal Highness Prince Omar bin Faisal, included a lunch banquet hosted by the Emperor and the Empress in honor of their Majesties. Their Majesties also met with Japan's Imperial Highnesses Crown Prince Naruhito and his wife, Princess Masako. His Majesty and Crown Prince Naruhito, who is due to become Japan's 126th Emperor next year, praised the historic 64-year-old ties between the two countries. His Majesty also met with Japanese Defense Minister Takeshi Iwaya, where the two discussed means to expand military cooperation between the two countries. King Abdullah and Iwaya reviewed regional and international efforts to fight terrorism within a holistic approach, including the two countries' joint efforts in this regard. His Majesty also referred to the Aqaba meetings that were organized by Jordan and Japan last April that discussed security challenges in Southeast Asia. The King praised Japan's constructive role in the Middle East and its efforts to achieve regional security and stability. His Majesty also met with President of the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, Shinichi Kitaoka, who affirmed that JICA will encourage Japanese companies, as well as small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, that operate in the fields of energy and entrepreneurship to invest in the kingdom. Kitaoka added that JICA will encourage these companies and corporations to set up projects in the kingdom, as there are many promising areas to invest in, with great investment opportunities to be found in the tourism and SMEs sectors. His Majesty, meanwhile, expressed his appreciation for JICA's financial and technical support to Jordan's economic and development plans, including the fields of vocational training, agriculture, and other programs that aim to develop Jordanians' capabilities. The King also pointed to the importance of the development policy loan that the Japanese government is to present to the kingdom. The meeting also tackled the London conference to support Jordan's economy early 2019, where His Majesty expressed his hope that Japanese corporations and companies will be taking part in. Representatives of major Japanese companies affirmed their keenness to expand their investments in Jordan in a number of vital sectors. In remarks to the press following their meeting with His Majesty, executives of major Japanese companies who are members of the Jordan-Japan Friendship Association noted Jordan's various investment incentives, including the kingdom's strategic location as a regional and international gateway. King Abdullah's meeting with the president and members of the association focused on the many advantages of investing in Jordan, including its qualified human resources and the kingdom's free trade agreements with several countries. Meanwhile, here at home, the Senate passed the 2018 amended income tax law after it was returned by the lower house of Parliament. Yesterday, the lower house changed the 14% tax rate on industrial activities to 25%, as approved by the Senate. The Cabinet discussed a number of decisions related to administrative reform and the development of public sector performance as immediate steps to implement the government's priorities for 2019 and 2020. Razaz stressed the importance of these decisions in combating corruption, promoting transparency and integrity, and improving the public sector's performance. The Cabinet also decided to exempt teachers from the civil service year-end performance review. The decision followed threats of protests by teachers who suspended a planned strike for tomorrow against the new Civil Service Bureau regulations, dictating that all government ministries are required to provide an annual performance report for all their employees, after which 15% of those with the lowest ratings will have to be laid off. The regulation also stated that the 15% included those eligible for retirement. Meanwhile, in the occupied West Bank, a Palestinian was shot and killed by Israeli forces. The Israeli army claimed they shot and killed the Palestinian man after he crashed his vehicle into soldiers along a West Bank road north of Hebron city. The army added that 3 of their soldiers were wounded. Russia's Federal Security Service said Ukrainian naval ships ignored warning shots, which forced Russian forces to open fire for real after they illegally entered Russian territorial waters. It added that Ukrainian vessels were first to aim their guns at Russian vessels in the Kerch Strait. Russia then seized 2 small Ukrainian armored artillery vessels and a tugboat. Western powers condemned Russia's actions as Russian aggression and demanded the release of Ukrainian ships. In sports, Ben Lecomte has been forced to abandon his ambitious attempt to swim across the Pacific Ocean after his accompanying boat was damaged in a storm, but the Frenchman will continue in his quest to raise awareness concerning marine pollution. The 51-year-old had completed more than 2,700 kilometers of his bid to become the first swimmer to traverse the world's largest ocean before he called off the endeavor when the mainsail of his support vessel was irreparably damaged. Lecomte set off from Japan's east coast on June 5th and was aiming to swim 9,100 kilometers to San Francisco, but admitted defeat after falling foul of a setback he said was out of his control. Despite the disappointing end to his swim, Lecomte insists his primary mission will continue, with the Frenchman determined to raise awareness of the plastic pollution in the world's oceans, something he said he witnessed firsthand. And finally, the weather outlook. It will be cold and humid across the kingdom tonight and relatively cold tomorrow, as temperatures are expected to slightly rise to their seasonal normal. Tomorrow's forecast temperatures in Amman, highs of 19 degrees and lows of 8, while Aqaba's highs reach 28 degrees and drop down to 16 at night. That's all for tonight. I'm Dan Abisham. Thanks for watching and have a good night.